we all know, today does mark the 6-month anniversary of the war in Ukraine. And also, it's been also 31 years since Ukraine declared independence from the Soviet Union. So Independence Day, their style, is taking place in Ukraine. And as Jeff predicted at the beginning of this conflict, there's really no end in sight. All this on the heels of a forthcoming announcement of $3 billion more in U.S. aid that Jeff will get into in a second. Both Ukraine and Russia now think they can win the war. This is a great way to lead this off. Does that mean that the risks of this get worse?
I think it's very possible, JT. It could be make things worse, or we could fear escalation. I mean, Fred Clay, a very famous political scientist, once wrote a book called All Wars Must End. And in that book, Clay pointed out the only way wars end is when one side or the other changes its particular goals. And right now, that does not seem to be the case on either side. The Russians are still talking about, if you listen to Patrusha, who's the national security advisor, or Medvedev, for example, basically not only the defeat, but almost the extermination of the Ukrainians. And on the other side, of course, President Zelensky was very adamant in his remarks around Independence Day that we're not seeking peace. And these were his words. We're seeking victory. And furthermore, they went on to talk about, from their standpoint, victory is defined as liberating Crimea, which, if you're a Russian, you would argue is Russian territory, as they've occupied it since 2014 and tried to Russify it along the way. So I don't see that this either side is changing their goals, and therefore the risk of escalation. Now, for the Russians, what should that look like? Well, it could be vertical escalation, in that they could threaten to rattle a nuclear saber again against Ukrainians or others. They could intensify, as they're doing, their strikes with missiles on cities, which they've been doing, particularly in response to some partisan attacks. Or it could be more what I would call vertical escalation. They could try to do things more in other directions. You could see a massive cyber attack. The assassination of this young woman, Daria Dejina, in a car bombing outside of Moscow, now seems to potentially elicit a confrontation between Russia and Estonia, because they claim, FSB, that the perpetrators of the attack fled to Estonia. And there's been also threats against Lithuania over the access to the Kaliningrad Oblast, and ongoing potential crisis brewing in the Balkans between Serbia and Kosovo. Many people believe the Russians are fomenting that to, again, distract and horizontally escalate things in other directions. So I think that is a real fear that this could lead to this becoming more dangerous and the possibility of escalation.
Hey there, Hedgeye Nation, or if you're not part of Hedgeye Nation, thanks for watching Hedgeye on YouTube. If you haven't already, make sure to click on the button below there, subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also follow the link in the description to our website to get even more great investing content.